Well, you do Clockers, and you had the roles like New York Undercover and, the other TV shows you mentioned. And then in 97, you were in The Devil's Own.
Yeah, 96, 97
Ford,
with
Brad Pitt.
With Brad Pitt and Harrison Ford.
Damn.
That was that was my second film. The second film, Alan Pakula, rest in peace. He was the greatest, man, because, it was back then, it was the City Kids was like the drama program of New York. Like if you went to City Kids, I know that's where Malik Yoba was from, several other actors. And it was a bunch of them coming up there for the role. And so I went, and Gordon Willis, is that the casting director? I can't remember.
Gordon was the cinematographer.
No, Gordon Willis, cinematographer.
Yeah.
Gordon shot Devil's Own. I think that's what it is. Okay. Yeah, Gordon Willis shot Devil, but I can't remember the casting director. But she was the greatest because she was like, I did my thing, and she goes, "Can you come back in like 2 hours and do that same thing for the director again?" I said, "Yeah, I'll definitely be back in 2 hours. I got nothing to do with myself." So at the time, this is 96, 97, Vlad. So Corey Rooney was the vice president at Sony. And at that time, a friend of mine from Staten Island was trying to get a record deal. So it was Bimmy from the Supreme Team was like liaisoning and like artists developing us and hanging out in the studio. So Corey Rooney was one of the big homies. So I was like, let me just go over there and kill some time, get my shit together, and I'm gonna go back around the corner and do my callback. That was same day callback. Like, they don't do that no more. Like, those days are over. So go kick it. That was the first time I think I met Mariah Carey up at the Sky Lobby at Sony with Tommy Mottola. Like, that was some crazy shit. It wasn't social media back then.
Right. The people you met pre-Instagram, you're like, man.
Damn, if only. Nah, but that was a kick right there. And then I went back, I did my thing, and then I booked it. But then they made their business to say, like, we saw a lot of talent. And for you to be as raw as you are, don't come a dime a dozen. So we just wanted to let you know how much of a lifesaver you were. Because I think that meant they could pay me less, really.
Right.
Was what I think that's what that meant. I think y'all don't have to pay the quota.
You have this raw talent that we can underpay.
Yeah, so good looking for that. You saving us a little grip. Do your thing with Harry. And then Harrison was great on set. Ruben Blades, I mean, come on. Second film, I was with some hitters.
Yeah.
I was with some hitters.
Okay, but then in 1998 came the film that most of us know you for, which is Belly.
Belly, that's right. Now, 98 was my year. just like what's the pimp that said 77 was my year. 98 was my year because I did Belly, I did In Too Deep as well, and I did Black and White. But back to Belly, that was another one of those early in my career, Dan, where I felt like I'm too good for this shit. Because Hype Williams had an open call for that. Yeah. He went the same route Spike did. That was the thing, right? And he's like, I'm looking for this character to play Tommy Buns and this, that, the third. But then what happened, because I said, I'm not going to that. I'm definitely not doing that all over again. Right. So another homie of mine, big homie from Staten Island, that's also an actor as well, graffiti legend, Gano Grills, gave me the cheat sheet and where the audition was. So I more or less crashed that audition. But what happened was Money, Power, Respect came out. So I'm thinking I'm going in for the lead role. I'm going for the gusto at all times. I'm not thinking about these other, principal roles and co-star roles. So I'm going in there with, my A game. But then at the same time, I'm listening to the radio, Hype's talking about he found his Tommy because he saw the video and he's like, yo, this guy DMX is it. Now, unbeknownst to everyone else, he was, because that was the best. I can't imagine anybody else leading that film. Like, I just can't. The X was the pick of all picks. But yeah, I crashed that audition. I did my thing. Method Man comes into the office, I think one day, sees my name on like the wall, or my headshot on the wall, like, on the wish list or whatever it is they have in the office. And he's like, oh, that's my cousin. And he's telling Hype, I can't do it unless did you cast him? Because I'm not gonna do it unless he's in it.
Right.
And then I'm just like, oh, I got the boost from Method Man. So now, so when I come back, Hype tells me the story. He's like, no, you were in it, but Meth just made sure, like,
he locked it in.
Yeah, so just you might want to give him a call just for the, all intents and purposes. But that's how Belly happened. And I'm probably like the only non-rapper in that movie.
Right.
Like everyone else that had principal roles were rappers or singers, right? I mean, maybe, even who played Keisha? What was her name? The dark-skinned one. She was from A Bronx Tale.
Terrell Hicks.
Terrell Hicks. Because she even recorded an album. So, I was like the only, straight actor in that film.
So you did that in Belly, but then also in Flatbush, you're with a bunch of comedians. And in both of them, he blends in as well.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
He fits in wherever you throw him. It's just, staying within himself also.
Yeah.
Just crushes it.
That's what I think I learned that about myself in Belly, though, because then I had to look back and I was like, well, wow, this was all musical talent in a film directed by a video director. Right. It was just an hour and a half video. Right. It was just an hour and a half long video. And to Hype's legacy, he's like the only person that ever pulled that off. And it's a classic. It's definitely a classic.
Oh yeah, it's an all-time classic. One of my favorite films. In fact,
you know how many pages are ripped out of there, though, Vlad? It would have been a whole nother movie, though. It was so many pages that got ripped. It was at least 5 scenes that got omitted or deleted from the film. And it still turned out to be, you know what I'm saying, what it was. Yeah. That's what I think is great about it. People don't know that behind the scenes. That's not the script, the way it goes from beginning to end. Right. So if you notice, there's a little hole in there that they fill up with Frank Vincent when they implement the feds. Mm-hmm. There's a lot more in between it that was going on before that happened. They showed how the feds got on to us, but they had to skip over that line because of the budget. We would just over budget the first 2 weeks. Yeah, we didn't even shoot it. Like I was on set some days in full wardrobe and just got ripped.
They're just ripping it out.
Like, go home.
Yeah.
Go home. It's an hour long. It's a 2-hour video.
That film was such an influence on me because I remember when I interviewed Mr. Vegas, I told him that dance hall scene in Jamaica made me want to become a DJ.
I've probably done 1,000 interviews in my day, but I'm going to explain to you why this one right here is special to me. Because right around 2000, I was going through a very transitional period in my life. Right, I was going through a bad breakup and my business was shutting down.
Right.
And I watched Belly.
Wow.
And there was the scene in Jamaica in the club.
Right.
And Sucky Ducky came on.
Yes.
And the way with the music and how Hype Williams did the visuals.
Yep.
I was mesmerized.
Right.
And at that point, I decided that I'm going to leave my old life behind and I'm going to go into DJing.
Wow.
Because the vibe, like I'd never seen that vibe before. I'd never been to Jamaica at that point, anything else like that.
Right.
And, I always wanted to do music. I did it on the side. But then when I saw that, I said, this is what I want to do.
In fact, maybe I want to become a reggae DJ. I ended up DJing for Barrington Levy.
Right.
I got so like obsessed with that scene. I'm like, I've never seen that type of energy before.
No, that was great though, Vlad. It was when that come in Vegas. Sean Paul's in it too, right? Vegas, Sean
exactly.
Paul. Like, that was such a classic. And then it was like you said, that energy. If you never been to Jamaica, that was the closest to being in Jamaica that you could be without being in Jamaica. Seriously, he definitely did that one hype. Well, that's where a lot of the budget went to, too, because they had to go to Jamaica. Right. They had to go to Jamaica.
Well, you played part of DMX's crew, DMX and Nas's robbery crew.
Yep, I was Mark, yep.
Were you the one that is stripped down?
No, that was Jay Black, right? That played, I forgot his character, but that was Jay Black nonetheless. But I was Mark. So that was my grandmother's basement in that scene that happened. So it was, and then it was Stan Spitt that played L.A. Kid, and then my dude Jason Parrish that played the other kid that instigated the shooting at the restaurant towards the end of the movie. But yeah, no, I played Mark, so I robbed the tunnel with him in the beginning.
Right.
It was the three of us, right.
There we go. And then you were in Too Deep right around the same time.
Yep, And Too Deep came out that year. We shot that in Cincinnati, Toronto, and LA. So yeah, that budget, those pages didn't get ripped out.
we barely left the studio.
Yeah, we barely. That's what I'm saying. That
we were
budget.
We were lucky to go from the stage to Flatbush and back. Yeah.
Exactly.
We're not crossing state lines.
You know what I'm saying? So yep, it was In Too Deep after that, and that's probably my favorite though. I had the most fun on that film than anything. I mean, LL did his thing, Omar, Nia Long. I mean, Gano's in that one too. Sticky Fingaz is in that one too. Nas is in that. Nas has that little cameo in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I heard you actually try to holler at Nia Long on set.
Yeah, I did, because we were all hanging out in Omar's room one night, and I think it was the weekend, so we were getting fired up. And I was just pushing up. I'm like, ain't nobody in here pushing up on Nia. But I actually got that on camera. My boy, who's my boy, Daryl, right? Daryl Stuntman. He had his camcorder.
Oh, that's
so he's got
cool.
like the 8mm of that or something somewhere, and he's just like, yo, Haas, I still got that when you need it for the documentary.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, they just lock it in the vault, just keep it safe, and we're good.
Oh man, that's to go to Library of Congress.
But Nia wasn't. Nia, I mean, she just thought it was cute. She just kept smiling and laughing. Who's this little nigga right now? You're like, you got confidence though. I don't know. And if I got the number, I took too long to call her, so it was probably changed.
No, you need that. You need to be ready to take any shot. You know
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I did it. Shout out to Nia.
Well, then in 2002, you were in Paid in Full.
Yes, 02 was Paid in Full. That's right. Because I went out for that lead role as well, Mitch. But then they got Makai, and then of course Makai was the great pick. Who else better than to play Rich Porter, aka Money Making Mitch, and Paid in Full than Makai, right? He's from Harlem. I mean, he embodied the character. He did his thing. But I did my thing so well, Chuck Stone. Shout out to Chuck. Chuck was the director that did the Budweiser campaign. The West Side. Remember that?
Yeah.
That was classic. Yeah,
Boy,
Chuck,
that was a thing.
That was West Side. Yeah, Chuck did that. So Chuck,
he's responsible for a lot of annoying people that year.
Like that. Sorry, Chuck, but I had to let him know. I had to give him your flowers.
It was successful, yeah.
So yeah, Chuck did that, and he reached back out. There was some like reshoots that they needed to do. And they reached back out, and that was the scene where me and Mitch, Money Making Mitch, and I forgot my guy Tobias Trevelyan is in that as well. We shot up Jamie Hector, aka Marlo from The Wire, on the stoop in that scene in Paid in Full. That was Marlo. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's crazy how everything goes full circle.
Right, because then in 2002, you started as a regular character on The Wire.
Exactly.
Playing Wee-Bey.
Yep.
And from that show came the famous meme.
That's right. Which a lot of people don't know that, but that's where it's from.
Okay.
That's from
Can we see what the meme looks like in real life?
Within real life?
Right.
Yeah, he was. What did my dude say? He was like, you was really flabbergasted and dumbfounded in that scene, bro. Some people get a kick out of that, like I was really doing some exceptional acting. And I was just like, nah. He just said, we thought it was the girl or the guy or something, and that was it. I didn't realize, but you know what? That was I don't know who shot that episode, Uda or. Can't remember who shot the episode, but I think it was that imposing pushing when they do it, and then it's like a rack focus or something that makes it so dramatic.
Yeah.
It makes it like the most shocked person in life.
It's like it's serious, but there's so much like you just bring this comedy to everything. Also, where you're just like you can't.
I was like, but
You like can't believe it.
Yeah,
And so
like, we shot the wrong person. That's really what Wee-Bey
it's
was.
like, oh fuck,
He
yeah.
was laughing inside.
Well, that's
really.
and because you do that also in the scene, the sentencing scene,
Yeah.
where you're owning up to everything,
Yeah.
where Wee-Bey is just trying to eat a little
Yeah,
more.
he
You
just
know,
wants to eat. And I was hungry that day because that was like a 6 a.m. call time. So I'm really eating those. Those were real Pitt beef sandwiches from Baltimore.
it was like the funniest scene.
yeah, that was.
Medium rare, a lot of horseradish.
He's like, I don't even know what's going on no more. Just
And you
give
do
me
that,
another
you do
one.
that shrug. You just
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's another one. Yeah.
Yep. Nah, man, classic material, The Wire.
Mm-hmm. I mean, really one of the best TV shows ever. Period.
Yeah, I'm putting it up there in the top 3, if not top 5, if not top 3. My favorite is Breaking Bad. You know,
Oh, yeah.
because I never saw any of what happened coming.
Right.
That Walter White, Bryan Cranston.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he's a fucking animal. Whoa.
But what you look at all the people who came out of The Wire and the different sort of worlds
No, you're right.
that it like organically incorporates.
Yes,
That's
yes.
what I don't know many shows that have been able to do that.
I
You
mean,
know?
yeah, from Wendell Pierce to Dominic West, to Deidre Lovejoy, John Doman, Clark Peters, Michael Williams, Lance Reddick,
Right.
Larry Gilliard, J.D. Williams, Andre Royo. I mean,
Crazy.
they go crazy. I mean, and
Crazy.
everyone's a hitter. Everyone's solid.
Yeah.
Like super solid.
And to change the environments within a show, most shows it's set in a bar and you're just going to live in that bar for a decade.
Yeah, exactly.
They're staying in the diner, but
Yeah.
The Wire able to constantly move the characters around.
Exactly.
And
That's what I
still
thought was
keep
great.
the core of the show and what makes it great.
Yep, 30 principal actors at any given time, and you're keeping up with every
Crazy.
last one of them.
Yeah, and care. You care
Yeah,
about
and you care. I don't know if anyone's attention span has been that undivided since that show.
That's
but
what's tough about now is I don't
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that they would even give people a chance to commit like that.
That's the thing.
When it's there, if people want it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Idris Elba, you forgot to mention him.
Yeah,
He came
right.
out of that shit.
Stringer, Idris
Right.
Elba, come
Yeah.
on. It's really the top of the crop, the cream of the crop.
Right, and I mean,
Wood,
it wasn't
Harris.
until later.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Avon
Yeah.
Barksdale, come on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, it wasn't until later I realized that he was British because that accent was just on point on that show.
Yeah, no, he did his thing. It just, I think back then for me when I found out was right before, because we were shooting the pilot, but we shot that pilot that November 01 after 9/11. Let's just put it like that. It was after 9/11, but I think Grant and Foreman had a heavyweight bout that week or week in that month, something like that year. And Idris and I walked from the hotel down to the Hyatt in the harbor. And I guess he had a home check that he was on the phone doing. And he got a little upset and the accent came out. And I stopped, looked at him, and he just kept walking for about another 20 yards. I'm like, this nigga not even from out here. You was fooling us for just fooling us. As you were in the lobby talking with the American accent. So you're practicing. I get it. The dedication and commitment is bar none.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it came out in a little argument. I guess he couldn't. And I was like, all right. Then he started giving me his history and origins and Wolverine story and shit like that.
That's what sometimes I'll see comments of people write about us on the show, and they'll be like, "Man, they sound just like the character."
Right.
you think we're gonna be British?
Yeah, I know, right? Everybody's British.
Kareem,
Nah.
Kareem straight out of straight out of Shakespearean.
Yeah, right. Straight out of
Royal
Brixton.
Academy. Yeah,
East London.
Stratford upon Avon.
Stratford, yeah. Nah, mate, nah.